Welcome to Season 3 of Girl You Know It. For those of you joining us for the first time, Girl You Know It is an offshoot podcast for Black Women Connect Vancouver. Black Women Connect Vancouver is a collective of women who come together to inspire, empower, leverage our strengths, and embrace our diverse experiences. It's a community where Black women in Vancouver can build meaningful relationships and celebrate the beauty of Black womanhood. Girl You Know It is a space where we want to create connection in a different way to talk about our shared experiences as Black women in a serious and fun way and everything in between. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome to another episode of Girl You Know It. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, Girl You Know It is an offshoot podcast for Black Women Connect Vancouver, where we want to create connection spaces in different ways to talk about our shared experiences as Black women and femmes in serious and silly ways and everything in between. I am Abigail Kibarita. I am the project coordinator for Black Women Connect Vancouver and one of your lovely hosts for today.
My name is Natazie McQuavy, and I am the founder of Black Women Connect Vancouver. And I just want to say, Abby, you didn't say Martin's at the end.
Oh my goodness, I'm still getting used to that. Abigail Kibarita Martins.
She hyphenated her name.
She was waiting for that.
I love it.
So funny. And I am Elle Boyera. I am the volunteer and community engagement coordinator for Black Women Connect Vancouver.
I love it. All these ladies here. So for today's episode, we are so incredibly excited to be celebrating our 5-year anniversary. Yes, it's our anniversary. Yes. As Black Women Connect Vancouver.
That was the best ad lib.
we were singing it earlier.
We're like, we should add this.
I love that. That's so cute.
So it started with one fearless Black woman.
Prop.
Keep popping on. I love it. Who saw a need, and you stepped the F up to bring about a dozen and more events to connect Black women in the Lower Mainland and in another different and unique ways. Black women. Oh, today. Yes, we're going to talk about Black women, for sure. We will talk about Black women. But today, we are going to take a trip down memory lane.
Ooh.
Yes, and look back at pretty much all of the events that we did. We're going to touch on them. Let's see what you started off, Natasia. We're going to do that.
You know, like in those shows where, like, there's, like, that flashback. Like,
Yeah,
like, we need, like, that music. I'm like,
David, can you help us with that? So we are going all the way back to 2017.
wow, the beginning.
Wow.
Obviously, we're going to start back then. But back then, it was called something a little different. It was called Black Girl Magic. And it started with a Christmas party where we actually have video evidence of this Christmas party. But we also have like a cute little slideshow. I have a slideshow for you ladies that we were just we're gonna take a look at this Black Girl Magic party. So first and foremost, we have a beautiful group picture of all the ladies. Ladies, take a look at that. Look at us.
So precious.
Look at that first
We look so
iteration.
young.
I know. It's
5 years
a while
ago.
I still have that wig, but it's so cute. I haven't worn it actually in a really long time. Pull that one out of the box for Christmas. But yeah, Natasia, can we talk about like how, I know we do this often, talk about how it got started, but like, what was it like?
Yeah. I think that Java and I were just chilling. And we were like, we should do like, because I have this like nice clubhouse, and I was like, we should do like a Christmas party with some of our friends. And at first it was just gonna be like y'all and like some other friends, and we're like, we should invite more Black girl friends. And then like they have Black girl friends who have Black girl friends. Let's all just have a Black girl like magic party. And so we were like, okay, let's do that. So like we got someone to make us like cupcakes. I think it was cupcakes or cookies.
Yeah, they were cupcakes.
Yeah, and had like little like afros on it. It was just so cute, and like we decorated the place, and like got some appies, and like, yeah, we didn't know what was gonna happen. We really would just like made it so casual.
Yeah.
And then like everyone just had a good time. And some people were like, "This is the first time I've been in a room full of Black women."
Wow.
And I was like, "There's only like what 20 of us or something," and
Yeah.
we were just like, it was just kind of a little bit interesting. And I think that's kind of what sparked it. Of like, you know what? I'm sure there are a lot of other women who feel the same way. And then like that's still the same comment we hear today. So I find that very, very interesting.
I know.
But it was a fun night.
It was a
fun.
good night.
We danced a lot.
Look at these cute pictures. Look at these. Look at.
We
this
made
is-
like a little photo booth.
Look at, yeah, this is the photo booth. Natizia, Kawera, and Jabwa, her sisters. So cute. And their sparkly little get-ups. Let's
She's
take
wearing
a,
Java's dress.
let's take a look
Oh.
at this video right here.
Oh.
Can we play that
I
one?
don't know why people always need to throw back to dancing
we
videos.
have to throw back to the dancing because we need to know where it started and how it got there.
Oh, okay,
Hey,
okay.
Oh my.
Natiza's getting up in the circle. It's a leg.
She tried to go down. Yeah. She got back up.
She got back up because it wasn't up. Oh, she got down again.
Oh, okay.
There's the arm. There's the arm.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's
So
so
many,
cute.
such good times. Honestly, I think I have another video as well.
That's okay.
No, okay.
Oh.
That's enough reminiscing.
Okay. Should we?
Let's skip it.
Should we, do we,
think
do,
we're
do we
gonna play
dare?
it.
Oh,
Do we
wow.
dare?
Play it.
I thought this was an anniversary celebration.
This is the first videos of
Wow.
the party that you create.
I,
Now you hear my background on that, like on a Snapchat video.
Yeah.
Gotta love
The
too
background.
short.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. I loved it. That was a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was really good.
I'm sad that I missed it.
Yeah.
In my soul, I was there, obviously.
Yeah, yes.
I was trying to say, I was there.
We were friends in my mind.
Yeah, we were already like friends. Okay, moving on to 2018. You guys decided, we all decided, it was like,
Yeah,
let's
do
do
it
this
again.
Let's do this again
Yeah.
because the last one was pretty good. So why don't we find more girlfriends? So let's see about these pictures.
Yeah,
so
and this was a different group.
Yeah, it was a completely different group, which is
Oh.
kind of what we have going on to
Yeah,
this day
it's true.
too. Is like
Every event's different.
every events we have different group of people, different connections, which is awesome, right? So we still have similar faces, but we have the different girls, everybody in their sparkly get-ups, floor length gowns. Like I love it. It was always
Counts
such
on
a
Black women.
good time. Black women,
Show
they
up.
come and showing up.
They really do.
Really
you can
do.
like literally go into a room of Black women and it's a party.
It's
Yeah,
true.
That's the thing. Like
It's true.
It's just a party.
Yeah.
Like, and other people are like, I don't get it.
They
Like, you
don't.
you
They
gotta
don't.
get it.
They don't.
They're like,
You
wait,
don't
no
gotta
people
get it.
aren't in their Lululemon.
Yeah.
You dress nice.
Aw.
Cute little picture. Yeah, me.
Oh,
I pulled out the wig again for this Christmas party.
You love that one.
That's
That was a
cute.
season.
Do you still have
Clearly.
that? You still have that?
Yeah, I still
You
have
should
this.
pull it
I need
out
to pull this.
for
Oh,
a
this is a
season.
cute.
Yeah.
This is a cute one. Okay, so 2019, we switch it up. Now we do a Black Girl Magic high tea.
And who shows up?
And who
Your
shows
very
up?
own.
Our lovely, wonderful host, Elle. We finally meet.
Yeah, we actually do. I was
Yeah.
like really shocked at how many Black women were there. I was living with Misha, and she's like, "We're gonna go to a Black Girl Magic high tea," and I'm like, "Cool." We're wearing our Sunday best.
Yes.
And I swear to God, our neighbors are like, "Are they going to like a wedding?"
Yeah.
Or whatever?"
All
And
in.
we're like looking good.
Yeah.
And melanated. And
Yes.
then like I was just like, this is the time when I was like, I was living in Kitsilano, and then I just moved to East Van. I'm like, I need to be surrounded by Black people.
Yes.
So this was like a really game changer thing for me because it was
Yeah.
like, this is what set me on the path to be like, this is where I want to be continuously. So it was a lot of fun.
I
Yeah,
love
it
And there's
was
it.
so
fun.
many people.
There were a lot, and again, different.
Like,
group.
look at this beautiful group photo again.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Our-
some people came from Vancouver to Surrey. I was
Yes.
like, wow.
And
that's
me
really
from
nice.
Abbotsford.
That was me.
There's a few of us
Yeah.
from Abbotsford as well.
Okay, we migrated all the way there.
All the way together. Our photos got better
Yes.
as well, so that's a plus.
but
It was
also-
orchestrated to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
There was a few
exactly.
photographers.
It was.
They definitely
Yeah.
staged us, but look at that like melanin.
Just
glowing
like
the
inside.
color and gorgeous.
Black
gorgeous.
women in films. Wow.
Yes. Gorgeous.
Wow.
Like, look at this one.
Wow. Look at it like we like each other. Look at
No,
like
I
we-
totally forced this one. I remember.
Yeah,
I was
you're
just
like,
like,
okay,
okay,
yes.
let's laugh.
This is the thing. thing. It's so funny because like we'll be like getting ready for a podcast. Like let's pretend, look like we're laughing. Look like we're doing
And it's not
something.
But
changed.
look at this photo.
I know.
It works.
It does work.
It really does work.
You're magical. You bring the thing.
Let me take all of those accolades. Thank you.
Okay.
Honestly, that was a good time.
This,
Look at us
this
posing.
like squat.
I know, but the heels.
But the
She's
heels.
giving leg and ankle.
You know?
Yeah.
Loved
Dang.
it. Love it. Okay, we move on to later in 2019 to the mental health panel. So that was the first real, would you say it was like the first real event? Like
Yes.
in the sense of organized and organized, like we weren't organized before. No, we
Yeah, we
organized.
were not. Even that day, I was not organized. Listen, I planned this event because I was going through some mental health things, and I was like, oh, there has to be other Black people. There has to be some other Black women who like talk in the wellness space and all this. So I was like, would message people like, do you know blah blah blah, who would know? And
Yeah.
then this is how the panel discussion happened. And then so I'm like, okay, we've been having like 20 people come to our events.
Yeah.
Okay, why tell me why 70 people showed up?
Showed
And I was
up.
like, here are my donuts that we have to cut in half. Gail and Kuera were going back and forth until we were like, when I was done like facilitating the panel, I'd go into the kitchen and like try to get people's drinks. Then I go back and then we like, okay, we do a game. Then I have to go back into the kitchen. Like it was literally just 3 of us trying to like 70 people. It was crazy.
I do remember showing up and like you looked very like
Frazzled.
frazzled.
I was like,
and I was like, how can I help? And you're like, just get chairs. Just
Yeah.
please set chairs up anywhere because people kept coming. People were buying tickets at the door.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
20
Oh
people
my
bought tickets at the
goodness.
door.
There you
Wow.
go.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, okay, well, this is the need. But it also was
Definitely a
like,
need.
oh, I don't know what to do. And it was a little overwhelming, too, because people were like, okay, do this next, do that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I just finished this
This one.
And I was also so sick. I was actually
Yeah.
getting over the flu. So I just, like, I went home and I crashed. Yeah. So it was interesting.
But people enjoyed it.
Yeah.
People loved it because
Yeah.
they ended up showing to our other events. So clearly word of mouth got around,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
And I would say specifically this topic was huge
Yeah.
because like as Black women, like we all have these thoughts like internally, and like if you don't have anybody else to talk through this with, like you don't have sisters or you don't have like whatever, but this was huge because you're like everybody's going through the same thing. I remember the first time hearing so many people like sigh in unison.
Yes.
Like I remember someone saying something and we all got it. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
it clicked.
It was, like,
for me.
collectively, yeah.
It was collectively like this is what we're missing for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so upset that I missed that one.
I know.
I was watching all the snap, like Instagram stories. Like,
Yeah,
It
and
looked-
the feedback was great for that one. I feel like that one still makes like my heart full. Like that one, it was just. I think because it was just like the first. There wasn't like, there were things going on in Vancouver for Black people, but it wasn't really anything for Black women.
Yeah.
in
it wasn't
general.
targeted for us.
There was
Yeah.
no group whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I think that one was just like, I think that's why everyone was like, oh, there's something. And so I think that's why it was like, that one is like, oh. Because it was also all different ages. And that's what
Yeah.
I love about about our group is that it's always different ages. Like there isn't a target age of like, you have to be this age
Yeah.
to this age. Like it's always different ages and people still feel comfortable being in whatever space. And I like that it's intergenerational and it hasn't changed.
I love that
Yeah.
about us. I really do.
I learned so much from like aunties and stuff.
Right?
Right?
And they're just like dancing with us. I'm like, I love
Yeah.
this.
So do we. Hey. Honestly, you can tell by the pictures. Just
Yeah.
like look at the connections everybody's making, and just like the wide range of Black women. Because we are all not cookie cut. What? Cookie cutter.
cutter.
That's what I'm trying to say. Cookie
Cookie
cutter.
cutter.
It sounded film different before.
I know. I was like, PG-13.
But it's true. We're not all the same,
Yeah.
right? And just from these photos, you can tell.
Yeah. And I think that
beautiful.
even this one, I remember there's one photo of 2 women hugging, and that was the first time they met in person because they used to follow each other on social media. And they're like, I finally get to meet you in person. And then I was like, and I guess like at the Aria, this was her first event photography.
Oh,
So it was a lot of
Okay,
firsts in
yeah.
this event, and she like captured it, and I was like, oh, this was such a sweet moment because it's like you see just like people sitting around, and then there's like 2 people hugging, and you're just like, oh.
We'll
Like,
get
and
that,
you don't,
we'll
you
get
don't
that
know-
photo in so people can see
Yeah,
what.
and like you don't know the backstory until someone told me, and I was like, oh, that makes it even so sweet.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, yeah. I just had to
Our
insert
lovely
this.
admin assistant.
Our admin assistant who doesn't say anything,
But she's
but she's
there.
always there, always helping around.
Oh, for sure.
I just had to put this photo in because she's my sister best friend.
Yeah.
So, and she looks gorgeous in this
She
photo.
does.
Definitely should make it a profile picture.
She has our other event as her profile.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true. She does. Which we'll get to. We move on to the Pitch Better event.
Yes.
In November.
So Amoy and Adila had reached out to me because they wanted to start something that I guess was at the time the first like pitch for Black women in business and how to like pitch your business. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, I just did my first event like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Why are you reaching out to me? I'm like, just so we're clear, I am not established.
Yeah.
And then they like understood, but they're like, we don't know where else to like find Black women at the time. And so I was like, okay, like we can test it out. And then the women that came are all people I know today, and they're all lovely in different businesses, and it's kind of crazy. So it's interesting looking back at that time too, because I felt so unprepared.
Yeah.
But then that was also their first time ever doing their own seminar.
Yeah.
So I feel like both of us, and like if you go to pitchbetter.com, you see how far they've also come.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that they still like shout me out and be like, that was our first event, was in Vancouver. And and then I do the same back because I appreciate like we were both just starting out and trying to figure out how do we help Black women in Canada. And so I think that event is very special to me because I made friends out of it.
Aww. You know what? Another thing that I just love about Black Women Connect Vancouver, as you can tell even from these like few events, like they all touch different aspects of your life, which is really amazing. And so everybody, even though maybe they're not like the partier type of person or something like that, can come to one of these like the mental health panel or this Pitch Better or something like that. There's always something for somebody.
Yeah.
Right? And you guys also look like you're on a magazine.
That's
cover. Like,
very
it's like
true.
that fall
Like,
colors and then just like
legitimately.
melanin. It's just
Did they have a professional photographer?
That was Aria. That was
Did
her
that
first-
Hey, Aria!
Aria.
Yeah, so
Aria.
she was part of our team, so we will shout her out. But like, this was her like Black Women Connect Vancouver was actually her first kind of like how she started her
Client.
photography when she
Gorgeous.
first started out. Yeah.
Gorgeous, gorgeous girls. Love it. Okay, and then we move on to our holiday party. This holiday party, I was so jealous.
Oh, you weren't.
Wait, you didn't come.
No,
she
I was
still
away. I was away. So more things that I'm looking online going, I wish I was there. And the photos from this holiday party,
Listen,
They were good.
these photos are like
stunning.
Yeah.
stunning.
Yeah.
Like
It's because
stunning.
black women took the pictures.
Yeah.
So,
It's
It's
true.
true.
Because
That's
you
the
get
reason.
women.
That's the
Exactly.
reason.
That does definitely help.
And I'm wearing the head wrap from that day because our
Are
team had
you?
special head wraps.
Yeah, so tell us about.
Did.
Yeah, we had a theme that year, and it was
Yeah.
our head wrap party. So we asked like people to come with head wraps, and then we all, we just all have African material laying out.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we'll just cut some up for people that didn't have any.
Yeah.
So then it's cool because you look at some of the pictures when people would come and be like, oh, I don't have a head wrap. Like there was a couple volunteers that would wrap their hair for them. So
like
it's kind of
this.
like Black women helping other Black women like put on their crown, like kind of just like it was a beautiful moment. And yeah, like this picture is like you see like her looking at herself and being like, oh,
Right? Like this
Yeah.
picture right here. She's like looking at her phone and her.
yeah.
She's
And it was
helping.
like the first event I will claim
Yes.
that was kind of like classy, like you know what I mean, like the
Yeah.
first kind
Yeah.
of like, okay, this is where Black women can come and like
Dress up.
shine, and they're just like be elegant,
And it's not just homey feeling,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
It's not just homey feeling.
Yeah, and we didn't have to tell people like dress in your blah blah. We just had come in your head wraps, and I think we said colors maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then people just came out
Showed
and be
up.
like, "Ooh,
Showed up and showed
Look
out.
at look at this array of head wraps in color and just melanin.
yeah."
Wow.
Gorgeous.
It was a good time. We had a DJ.
Yeah.
Yep. We had
People
some
were
food.
dancing, getting down.
Dancing. Like it was to the point of like there was one time this girl had a bottle on her
She
head.
had a problem on her
Yeah,
head.
and,
And
was,
she- was
and
she
she was
whining?
dancing,
She was
whining.
dancing.
I think I know who that was.
Yeah, yes, you do know who that was.
I think I know who that was.
Yeah, because I didn't even know it was like a Congolese thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh my
I remember
goodness.
that. Oh god.
Yeah, it was a fun time. I had a lot of fun at this event. We had so much fun. And we were like, this was our first event as like a team, like our
Yes.
first team.
Yeah.
So it was like a lot of fun for us trying to like figure out what worked, what didn't work. Yeah, it was good time.
Oh, awesome. 2019. That's a way to a nice way to wrap up.
And then the pandemic.
Da da da! It hit.
Okay, but we move forward from that because we don't want to talk about that shit.
Yeah, we won't talk about it when we talk about it.
It's true because it does affect some of these.
Really,
It really does. Yeah.
2020 hit.
Yeah.
And it hit hard
Yeah,
for
because we
everyone.
had planned all these events.
Yes, we
and
did.
Then
It was like, well, I guess we're not allowed to leave.
Yeah.
I guess we're not allowed to see people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but that really didn't stop you because May 2020, you had a woman in leadership.
No, that was February.
Oh, was that February?
Yeah.
Oh, I got the wrong date.
Yeah.
Whew.
No, because I remember February or March actually.
Okay.
Because I remember, so we had like the holiday party, and then we were like, okay, let's plan something. And then I was like, I was in a position of leadership at like my job at the time, and I was like, oh, there has to be other women who have these same questions, and so I was like, okay, let's do something. And then I was like going to do like a vision board thing beforehand. And then that got canceled, and they're like, oh, we don't know. And the venue kept being like, we don't know. And then we just
that's
canceled.
true,
And so
yeah.
we're like, we literally the same week, we're like, okay, sorry, it's going virtual. And then we had to figure out what Zoom was. And so it was like a whole thing. But it worked out really good. We had great guests. We have Lillian, who has Mumgri now. We have Effie Ferrucci, who does everything. Like, you don't know her, find out about her. And then we had Nadia Stewart, who also... she's married. I don't remember her name now. But she is a journalist, and she's also the executive director of the Black Journalists of Canada. So I just feel like, like back then, same thing. Like, I just feel like so many of our events, we've just like watched people start where they're first whatever. Like even with Mumgri, she was like maybe just doing pop-up like markets and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden Beyonce shout her out like that same year, and you know, like I was like, oh, I know her, I have her at an event. Like, you know, and like I'm watching other of the women too, so I feel like that event was also really special because they spoke so much wisdom, and like they were all in different fields, and it wasn't necessarily like they had businesses, they just were women in like different like leadership capacities and whatever that looked like for them. And I wanted it to be that. I didn't want it to be like, oh, if you're in leadership, you need to be an executive decision, like blah, blah, blah. Like it needs to look like this. I want it to be kind of like an array of like, you know, you can make your life whatever it looks like and be a leader in that. So, yeah, it was a great event.
Oh, I love that. That is so good. Well, we move on to hopefully this is the right date. June 2020. In June, the Unbox with David, that podcast, it was David, who is actually here filming right now. He's like, what? Why are you talking about me? Because you guys talked about Insecure.
Was it 2020?
It was 2020.
Okay, so I went through all these. That was May 2020 for the women in leadership, because I remember the month before I was like, we were like,
girl,
talking about leadership, and then all of a sudden the next month we're talking about how I'm Molly, and I was like, that's rude. That's rude. I get it though.
She accepts it.
I accept it. I watch it back, and I'm like, I hate you because you're mean. But that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun.
That's funny.
I think that was like our first taste with podcasting.
I think it was. Did we have a podcast at the time?
No, that was our first taste. So,
And then-
and that's how we've kind of snowballed. You'll further on in the months. We have the list here.
Okay.
The next event, also in June, was the self-care Black woman virtual event.
Yes, yeah, because people were kind of messaging us and be like, we need something for self-care, and we still can have events, and so we're like, okay, we'll make it virtual again. So we had Chevelle and why can't I remember her name? It's terrible. You don't know her name.
Girl, I'm the worst with names.
I'm the worst
You know
with
what?
names,
Everybody
too.
introduces me.
And I don't want to miss her. Oh, my
We'll
phone.
fix it in post.
Well,
Yes.
we have an image. We'll put
It's
a
true.
photo right there of everybody's name. But
That's not it. But
No,
yes.
this is not it. That's not it either.
Anyways, it was a great event.
was so good.
And then we ended up actually splitting into 2 groups, I think, or 2 or 3 groups where people can just kind of chat about it. They, like, each of them kind of facilitated what people were going through during that time and the time to kind of like release and talk through things. So it went really well, I think, and I like that it wasn't like a big thing. Like we advertised it, but we weren't like promo.
Totally.
Like we're just
Yeah.
like, if it's something you want to do, go ahead and come. If not, like, respect your decision, because we were all kind of all over the place during that time.
It was after all the things that happened
it was
in
too
America.
much.
It was
It
too
was
much,
like
and we just
slowly
needed-
opening up, but then people are wary and people are like, yo.
No, it was after all the
George
like.
Floyd.
Oh
It was
my
literally
goodness.
that like
Yes.
that like triple thing, and
Yeah.
then we were all just like so
Yes.
heartbroken, and we didn't know what to do.
Yes.
And every non-black was in our inboxes being like,
Hey,
And then
how do
we
you
blew-
feel about this?
And we
I was
blew
like,
up.
oh
and,
my
like,
goodness.
Yeah, it was crazy.
yeah. So I really appreciated that one. I think a lot of people really enjoyed
Yeah,
that
it
one.
was a good one.
Yeah,
I liked it.
yeah.
And from that, we move on to our summer IG series, Hop On It.
Nope, we started our podcast.
In July. No,
No,
I'm
no,
not done yet, girl.
No, but you're not right.
Girl.
So we didn't do Hop On It that summer. That summer we were just trying.
We were thinking about
We're
it.
doing IG lives. We're trying to figure out what it was. I was having some guests on it.
Okay, so they got a taste of Hop On It.
got a
It didn't
taste-
have a
it was
name.
It didn't have a name, but it wasn't. And then we did start
And
filming
then
our
we-
podcast.
Yeah,
That's
we
what
started
it
our
is.
podcast.
Yes,
Yeah, in
yeah.
August.
August.
Yeah.
July or August.
July or
Yeah.
August, we
Yeah.
filmed the first podcast
Yeah.
of Girl You Know It.
We need to make a jingle. You need to make a
Yeah, there
jingle.
you
I know. I'll figure something out. We'll play
Like-
around with it. 2023. Jingle coming your way for Girl You Know It.
We'll be the background dancer.
Throw us away. I can't.
But that was a lot of fun. I really liked.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a needed event. And then our first event back in person.
Yeah, and even then we were like, do we do an event? Do we not?
Yeah,
like,
we're back
because we
and
were
forth.
just open. There
Yeah.
was restrictions, but it wasn't like it was actually kind of they opened
was
a lot.
vague. It was-
Yeah.
it was
very like
very-
you can have an event, but this and
Yeah.
this. And
But they were like flip floppy, like they
Yes.
had been all
It's-
summer.
Yeah. So we could have an event. We just had to wear a mask. We didn't have to necessarily even. You could social distance, but not really. Anyways, it was really confusing. But we decided to have 25 people. And same thing. We're like, okay, let's have a self-care event. Just breathe and like people can come. So we had like food catered and they had like individual boxes.
Yeah.
And it was like very cute. It wasn't like lame boxes.
Yeah.
And then we did like some meditation, and then people just mingled. I think people, honestly, we tried to social distance.
It was so
and people
hard.
were just like, oh, we haven't seen people
In so
In
long.
so long.
Yeah.
So everybody was feeling the
Yeah.
exact same feeling that
Yeah.
we were feeling.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments of that day is when I can't remember who was the one leading the meditation. What was her
Dora.
name?
So Dora, we
yes.
had her on her like Spotify. She at that time just had like yeah.
But she told us to put our hands on our hearts and then on our stomachs and just breathe in and out. And it was just like you could feel the weight of everyone. Just like that exhale, what you were telling us about the mental health panel. It was kind of that feeling of everybody was just like,
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
and we could all do that collectively.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It
And
was
now Dora, she's like blown
Listen.
up. She did
You're the
headspace.
connection. You want to blow up? Come to Black Women Connect.
clearly.
She's traveling to the UK to like interview
I
some
love it.
And she
sexy
was on the mental health
sportsmen,
panel,
Like,
so-
Yeah. Dude.
At that time, she was just a nursing student too.
Oh
just
yeah.
Girl,
We love
it's
you.
true though.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
but yeah, I really love that. So moving on to the next year, 2021, we do another virtual event, and that is with CIBC. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, Lisa from CIBC reached out to us, and she's like, I really want to talk about investments and mortgages and all that lovely stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, we haven't done anything financial. And, you know, financial literacy is something that we want to grow in as Black people so we can have generational wealth.
Yes.
And so it went great. A lot of people had a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing like a part 2 later on.
Yeah.
It was good.
I love that. We move on to 2021 June, and we have Kiki in the Park.
Yeah. So I think that I didn't go to that one. That was like the first event.
that you
I
don't go
know.
to.
That
I
was me and
know.
Balessa.
Yeah.
And we partnered with Charla.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Charla Langston.
Yes, so we partnered with her, and yeah, it was just like a really great time at Charlie Park, just being like in nature, being in the green,
Yeah.
melanated, and like just being around Black women in
Yeah,
Dems.
and it was like
fantastic.
things weren't open fully yet.
Yeah,
so,
this is
So
like the
they're
safest
still
thing.
gingerly just like,
Yeah.
we're not out yet, but
Yeah.
we're out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Aw, I love that. And then we move on to July. Meanwhile, Black in Vancouver, Tooney's event at Tunchi, sorry, my apologies. Tunchi's event at Refinery.
Yeah,
The
so
club.
he made a, what is it called?
Like a web series.
Yeah, web series.
Yeah.
Called Meanwhile Black in Vancouver, and just asked to partner with us in terms of like promotion and helping him set up like his kind of like viewing party, which was a disaster on our end.
Oh.
But it turned out well. But yeah, we just had technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it went well. Like, I mean, I think he reached out to us because he just said it was focused a lot on like the dating experience and Black women, and he just felt like Black women are usually the ones that kind of push more of these kind of topics. And so yeah, it was fun. It was a good event. I think like it was just cool to see people be proud of like their work, and I know it was a lot of work that went into it. And
No,
Okay, and then we had another event the day after.
no, wait,
Was it the
this
day
mixed up?
after, or was that the same
yes,
week?
it was the same weekend.
it was
Was
the
the same weekend?
Yeah. When I look at the calendar, I was like, yo, we did this twice.
Yeah, we did too much.
And
that
why
year.
did we do this?
I think we were like,
what
we are
events was
open.
that? What events was that?
At the high tea.
That one was
Oh
that.
no.
That one was at Sando.
Okay,
Yes.
so
With
yes.
a Regulo.
So we had
Yeah.
partnered with Oreglo, which is another like I guess organization company, and they do different events. Also, we had planned to do something else, and then it just kind of just like didn't really work out. We're like, oh, let's just do a day party because we already found the event.
Yeah.
And so that day party was really fun. Like, and then we had an after party, which is even more fun, and like had like a rooftop event.
And what was
somewhere
different
else.
about it?
It was the first time we ever had men at our events.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those pictures are also bomb because
Yeah.
it's just like black,
Yes.
gorgeous, yes, men, women, looking good.
And I think it was a little confusing for people at first because they're like, Black women,
Yeah.
are men, can I come? Like a lot of people were like so confused, so we had to be like, yes, men can come. So yeah, I think that's our only thing so far that we've done with men.
Yeah.
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 We do have ladies asking, are we going to do more events
I
with
know.
men?
I know.
Well, you're just going to have to keep tuned to
I don't
Girl,
know.
You Know
We'll
It.
see.
I was going to say, I'm more on Natasha.
Yeah.
You're like, leaving that aside.
There's so many things now, and I'd rather people kind of go to those events.
Yeah,
and, like,
that's
have a good
true.
time than
Exactly.
for us to organize something. I mean,
Totally.
hey, if people want to partner with
I was
us,
just gonna say,
we're so willing.
We are
People want to
willing.
do work,
Yeah.
and we just, put our ex
Yeah, and
Black
just be
women
like,
connect
Black
with
women, and you want Black women to come? We'll bring them.
We'll bring 'em. We'll tell everyone. Oh my goodness. So then we continue to the high tea that happens in August.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was like the day party that we're like, you know what? We're not gonna like let this reservation go.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
So what happened was,
What had happened
Tell
was
us the
what had happened
deets.
was
What happened?
so we had booked 2 events to do day parties, and then it just kind of like didn't work out, and so we're like, okay. We had to like scramble to be like, okay, did we lose our deposits?
Yeah.
Or just have a day party? And so we were just like, okay, let's quickly make a day party. And of course it sells out. And yeah, I mean, y'all got free drinks, but that won't ever
Only
happen
time,
again.
only
Only
time,
time.
only
We
time.
literally had like, what, 3 runs to go get some
Yeah.
like
we had
champagne.
I
so
went
many
to
runs.
Legacy Wine Store several times.
We
They're
were like,
you're back
zoom,
again?
zoom,
Yeah, they were like,
Again?
sorry, you're running out of champagne. Sorry, you're running out of champagne.
We're like,
well, how
oh.
much are people
The
drinking?
last time I was like, girl, it's 3 more minutes. They have to.
they have to
be
do
okay.
what they gotta do.
Yeah, but
Honestly.
whoever went to that event, you got.
You got lucky. You got lucky because it's never gonna happen
It was
again.
a cheap ticket, and you
Yeah.
got free
Yeah.
free champagne.
Okay, question. What is the one thing people like they don't really think about when planning these events? If we're talking about let's talk about it.
I think the logistics, I don't think people really realize that we truly budget to make sure that
Yeah.
like, okay, if we're going to have this space, we're going to have this. If we're going to have this, we need to have this. And so it's not kind of like, oh, we're just going to copy and paste. Like
Yeah.
every event is so different. And so that's why like the costs look different. And I think that people like don't realize how much goes into it logistically. And then the day of, like the day
It's-
of also, there's always some sort of drama. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
always. There's always something that we're like, oh my gosh, this didn't work out. Okay, we have to like figure this
Scramble.
out, or
Yeah.
like something falls through, or you
Yeah.
know, like yeah.
So we try to make it work the best we
We do
can.
make it work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
no one sees the behind the
the
scenes.
price of your ticket covers the cost of the venue.
Yeah.
Don't come at us anymore. Okay. Okay.
Stop coming at us,
Stop
please.
it.
Please.
Please.
We move on to September, where we have this lovely collab with Chop It Up band.
Yes.
We started.
We, that was like our first one.
Yeah,
with
so I
them.
had reached out to Asha, who does Cooler Foods. Check it out. And I was like, hey, we need to do something together. Like, you're a Black woman who's doing, like, amazing things in the city. And she's like, yeah, we'll partner together. And then we kind of just, like, fizzled out. And, like, you know, the year, COVID and stuff.
Yeah.
And then she reached out to me again. And she's like, oh, Chris and I. And Chris owns Elbow Patties. And they were like, we're thinking of starting, like, a cooking class called Chop It Up. And we would love to, like, partner with you on that. And I mean, we are a great admin, I will say. Black Women Connect Vancouver is great at admin. Yes. And so I feel like that's kind of what our role has been, to kind of like help them. But really, it's their baby. And I'm just like here to support whatever they're doing. And so, yeah, we did our first cooking class together and it went really well. I think it was fun and we're still working together now. So
I know. Everybody who's been to one of our events, that lovely food that you are having is most likely Kula Foods.
And some elbow patties.
And elbow patties.
Patties.
Yes. So
Thank
please
you,
check
Chris.
those. Thank you.
So delicious.
Thank you, Asha. Thank you, Chris. So good. So good. We appreciate it all. We continue. We did a lot in September as well.
Yeah, apparently.
We did a lot. So one of like the biggest things in September.
Sip and paint.
Yeah.
Yes. And before
And
that,
before
the
Sip
same
and
day
Paint.
was the
The
BLK origin story documentary.
yes.
That whole day
That whole day was something.
was something.
So what happened was...
What had happened was...
So Seth Sutherland, who is a director in different film industries, and his wife, Jennifer Holness, they both are in the film industry, and they just had reached out. And first he like sent me a DM. And I was like, who's asking me about a documentary? I was like, I don't know. Then he like emailed me and was like, okay, sir. And so I was like, I will do this. And then it ended up being like this like cool thing where they were like traveling across Canada and talking about Black history. And it's the first time that's ever actually been recorded. And they were going to talk to the different things that's been happening, but then also to the present. And so we were part of the present of what's been happening in Black history. And I thought that was really cool. So we got to be a little bit like our 3 minutes in there. I mean, we filmed all day, but the 3 minutes that we got is really cool because you kind of get, it's true, you do get to see kind of like where Black history has started and come to now for Black people to come together.
Honestly.
Because we really were, especially in Vancouver, like displaced historically. So yeah.
I was just going to say, like, please, if you haven't watched that, please do.
Yes.
It is so informative.
I haven't watched it.
You haven't watched it yet?
It's so good.
I get really eked out about watching myself. So
No,
that's
you're
the
not
whole
until-
documentary. There's 4 parts.
There's 4 parts.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
But
that's
just
true.
watch it. No, it's really good.
Yeah.
And you sound good too.
Yeah.
You look good. You're
But
good.
the whole documentary is just very interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know anything, but
Yeah.
I
so
learned.
that was great.
I learned from that
Yeah.
video, definitely. So yeah, so we had the documentary,
Documentary.
and then later in the day,
We had our Sip and Paint event, which was our first one, so it was like scrambling, filming all day.
Yo, it was so stressful.
It was so stressful.
Because they kept going and we're like, oh my gosh, we're like time.
We're like, sorry, we
Yeah.
have to cut this.
Oh my
Because they
gosh.
were also filming our event.
Yeah, so we had to set
Yes.
up for her and
Yeah.
everything. It was wild.
Yeah, but it went really well at the end, so yeah. We like apologized. We're like, we're so sorry, everyone.
but it seemed like everybody enjoyed themselves. And
Yeah.
definitely asked for more of these events, which is why we continued it in the future. But we'll talk about that event later on. We continue on to December. We did another virtual event. We
COVID again.
because of
God.
COVID, cold months, cold season. We did a virtual Insecure finale watch party and a debrief collab.
Because we need to debrief.
Because you need a debrief after watching it.
The series.
Yeah.
Abby's talking like she's watched the show.
You know what?
Please.
Get off
She
my
hasn't
neck.
even watched episode 1.
I've watched episode
Wow,
1.
the shade.
I've
Wow.
watched episode 1.
Why is she promoting this?
Girl, please. I have watched.
1 episode.
But I watched episode 2.
I've watched season 1, 2, 3. That's it.
Lies.
That is not.
Sorry, she said that and I looked at you.
You're
It's
looking at her for like to confirm or deny.
confirmation.
Yes, I'm serious.
Okay,
But you haven't finished it.
No.
Okay. That's okay.
Anyways, it was fun. It was fun to debrief because we all kind of were on the same page, but also not. And like people had like their little glass of champagne at home, and we were just like, it was like chatting with like friends, and like just no one knew each other.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
It was fun.
It's the best like sharing experience to watch a television show. Yeah.
So we move on to do another Sip and Paint in 2022.
Yeah.
That was our first event that we were like, okay,
We've done this.
we've done this now. Let's go.
Yeah, it's kind of our first repeat.
It was our first. Yeah, that was our first repeat. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so we did that in 2022.
Yeah,
First
that
time
was
Even
a
though
year.
Abby was not on the team, Abby was on the
She
team.
was there. I was always been in the background.
I've always been like
Abby and Gail were on the team.
Always.
always on the team. Actually, it was this year that I
Yeah.
officially
this summer,
came
yeah.
on the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've always been around.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
always like,
Yeah.
you know, tripping here and there. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Abby and Gail are always good. They would be like, "Do you need help?"
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, free tickets, but they actually
well,
work.
you
I
know,
know.
we actually do stuff. You
Yeah.
know, and I've hosted.
It's true.
You
Some
did, and even like
events.
last year's
Yeah.
high tea event.
Yep.
MC.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, girl, what are you talking about?
Okay.
I'm a part of it.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
my first rodeo.
Okay.
And then June, our sister night in. That was our first time.
Sisterhood, yeah.
Sisterhood. Sorry, sisterhood. Night in was our first. That was our first time doing that like picnic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we always
Setting
wanted
up-
to do one, and then we're like, okay, this weather is unpredictable in
Yeah.
Vancouver,
Yeah.
which worked out because it did end up. It was nice that day, but it was raining earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice. We like had like the women come in. We had like an indoor picnic that we partnered with Luxury Picnics Vancouver, and then we also had questions of like in like bowls for like women to actually have like a deeper conversation and get to know each other and talk about the different things that Black women struggle with. So it was good, and like it was we had to like cut it. We're like, okay,
Okay,
stop talking.
we gotta
to,
go.
like, we have to
Yeah,
cut it.
ladies,
Like when's
really-
the dancing? We're like, you talk too long. So
we
it
got
was
it
fun.
deep, but yeah, it was.
I would
want
want to do that one again. That's
Yeah.
a really
I
good
think-
one.
Yes,
Definitely.
And it was
one of my
and the
favorites.
loungewear, like the
Like,
pajama
yes,
loungewear,
everybody coming with, like,
all
their
cute.
set.
It was like a girls' night.
It was
Yes,
really cute.
feathers.
Yeah.
There was even feathers. I was
It
like,
was-
"Ooh,
yeah,
that girl
it was
is,
really
like,
cute.
killing it.
Yeah.
So cute, so cute." Then we move on to August, our rooftop champagne party. Okay, look, okay, there's some feelings about this. If you haven't heard or haven't seen the
There's
vibe.
no feelings. The
Is there
feelings
no
were it was
feelings?
great. No, it was lovely.
Sorry, that was like
at
that face was like blanking. I'm like, what happened to August? Yes.
It was hot.
It was
just-
hot.
Yeah.
Hot.
I think that's where the mind blank came from. I was
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
I
we
like,
were all trying to find shade.
yeah.
Girl, that's why I was like moving it.
Yeah. I was like,
Those
please move that way.
umbrellas. I was like, these girls are not dancing. I gotta move umbrellas
Yeah.
to get people on the dance floor. So we moved the umbrellas on the dance floor.
Yeah, and then people danced.
Yeah.
But it was good.
But it was
a fun
still
time.
really hot.
Yeah.
Yes, but we did have fun. It was a good time. And then our back patio party at Refinery we had in September 2022. In October we had the mental health event, and then upcoming
It's our holiday.
is our holiday party.
It's
Hey.
our holiday party.
And this is the first holiday party since 2019.
Yeah.
I know, because we had to cancel
It's
it.
gonna be
COVID.
big.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah, and we can have
excited.
more people in this event
It's
space.
gonna be
I
big.
know.
So excited.
It's gonna be a good time. I
Yeah.
can't
Get
wait.
your ticket.
Get your ticket.
If it's not sold out
I know
already.
we'll probably play
be
this
honest.
after. It'll probably be sold out. Most likely.
Sorry to y'all.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry to these women that don't have their ticket.
But you know what? It's honestly been such a good 5 years from what we've read out here. Because
Yeah.
these are all the events that we did. That's a lot.
It's a lot. That's
Yeah, I
a
We
didn't
did a
lot.
realize.
lot.
That's probably why I was always crashing. Because I was like, I didn't realize we're. And then on top of that, the podcast and Empower Black Girl.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about
We
Empower
didn't even-
Black Girl.
I didn't even add that. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about Empower
Yeah,
Black
so
Girl.
Empower Black Girl is a program that we started. Adeze is the program director for it. And yeah, it's a conference for Black teen girls in the Lower Mainland. And yeah, the first year we had to do it virtual, which was unfortunate. And then yeah, this year we were able to do that in July. July, and a lot of like Black girls, same thing, same comments as like doing Black Women Connect Vancouver events of like, this is the first time I feel seen, feel heard. Like,
I love that.
Able to make friends with Black girls because I'm the only Black girl in my school. And like we have different mentors that come and speakers and panelists. And it's just always such a lovely time because it's like all those things that we say that we never had, they get to have now. And so I love it. I love that we have a program that does that. And that's just like exciting for me.
So sweet.
Oh, no.
Makes my heart little.
So where can everybody find out about our events or find out about us?
all the things.
All the things.
So all the things you can find out on blackwomenconnectvancouver.com. And you can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. Oh, and guess what? We have a moms group. So you can also join that group.
Yes.
So many faceted.
Yes, and we're still growing. 5 years is always the beginning.
Honestly.
And I feel like we're just in the beginning stage. So I'm excited for the next 5 years.
I'm excited.
But thank you so much for joining us on this journey together of becoming an organization.
But before we say goodbye, we gotta celebrate.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
That's so cute.
Anniversary. Hey. It's an anniversary.
Hey. Huh. Hey.
What?
Hey.
Hey.
Anniversary.
Hey.
Oh.
Okay. Are we still going? So I got cupcakes for all of us because we need to celebrate.
Do you Cheers.
Do you want this one? Chocolate? Anything?
Please, just let her grab.
Just
go.
gosh.
About this
Do you
fire.
like this fire
Oh
and
my
the technology? Okay. Cheers.
I kind of like didn't know what we were gonna do, but
You didn't know what I was gonna do.
Aw, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, ladies. Yeah, smoke.
I don't think the little smoke will do anything.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. As you know it, we're girl, you know it.
hey.
And we love to celebrate with you. Thank you for coming and joining us for our 5-year anniversary celebration. Okay. Love you, ladies. Bye.
Thank you for listening to our podcast episode. You can find us on all streaming platforms, and you can watch our video recording up on YouTube channel, Black Women Connect Vancouver. Until next time.